Some pissant t-shirt company down in Jacksonville, Florida, is about to explode their way onto television this fall with TBS, and it could include an off-season for all active members of the roster. This is All Elite Wrestling right here on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still did. Man, that's not bad. That is not bad. I'm clearly doing something wrong with my t-shirts. You know, that t-shirt company down in Jacksonville, Florida, they're giving hope to all other t-shirt companies that you, too, can make it big. Some pissant t-shirt company. We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen. AEW is all but confirmed for Turner Sports. TBS is going to be the home. It's been reported for months. People turned the other cheek. They walked away from all the reports, scoffing that they're nothing more than a TV company, making fun of them for the roster that they've assembled, making fun of them because they don't have a ring. And here we are. Here we are, a month away from Double or Nothing. And people are still in denial that AEW is a real thing. People still calling for their failure. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It's as if people are afraid to even utter another name of a wrestling company in the same breath as WWE. I don't get it. We'll talk about all that. Plus an off-season possibly to be announced with All Elite Wrestling. That is a little bit more of a far-fetched idea. It is being discussed. Don't know where the rumors started or where they came from, but we'll talk about it as well. There are definitely pros and cons to an off-season in professional wrestling. Certainly wouldn't work for the WWE being who they are, but it could work in All Elite Wrestling. We'll go over that today as well. Plus my thoughts on Enzo and Cass interrupting or invading Ring of Honor G1 Supercard with New Japan Pro Wrestling at Madison Square Garden WrestleMania weekend. A lot of people did not like the fact that Ring of Honor is associating themselves with Enzo and Cass. And Tama Tonga also spoke out about this, saying that Ring of Honor is a joke for getting in bed with Enzo and Cass. We'll talk about that as well. Plus, Eli Drake, he was terminated from Impact Wrestling. He is being reported right now to be on his way to All Elite Wrestling, but Impact is trying to stop that move. We'll go over all that today right here on this Off the Script Extra. Follow me on social media, man. You guys know the deal. At JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. My voice is finally starting to feel 100% again after the long wrestling weekend that was WrestleMania weekend. I know my voice has been sounding hoarse, and I really wasn't at full strength, but I feel a little bit better today than I did, because today I need to feel better. There's going to be a lot of recording. I got to get this up, and then immediately after this, I'm going to record the podcast for Friday, Off the Script, episode 269. And if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Make sure you guys go over there if you want to show your appreciation for Off the Script. Make sure you guys check out anything that I have previously uploaded. Everything from WrestleMania weekend. The weekend included NXT TakeOver, Off the Script preview and predictions for those shows. TakeOver New York, WrestleMania 35, official review. that went over 2 hours, and I sat here in this very chair, in this office, till about 3:30 in the morning, absolutely in a zombified state. I legitimately could have been mistaken for an extra on The Walking Dead. That's how long the night was. And then we had Raw, then we had SmackDown, and we had NXT, which I covered in their entirety right here on the channel. Make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out. Also, I want to thank everybody, man. I don't know what the fuck I did, but apparently I did something right. Dean Ambrose offered 7 figures a year by AEW, ? We did a video yesterday on that, and it's right now at 33,000 views in less than 24 hours. Don't know what I did, but I guess I did something right. Thank you guys so much for showing up and showing your support for that. We're right back here on Off the Script Extra for more AEW. But if you guys want to go check all that stuff out, link is in that little eye in the top right corner of the screen. Go check it out. Drop it down. Everything you need is going to be right there. This podcast is sponsored by Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go and check out Audible. Audible is giving everybody listening to me 30 days free of their service. And that includes 1 free audiobook of your choice. All you have to do is the following. Listen very carefully and closely. Pick up your mobile device, whether it's an Android, an iPhone, iPad, whatever you guys are using right now. Audible is free to download through Google Play and the iTunes store. Make sure you guys go and download the app. Then you're going to go to audibletrial.com/offthescript. You're going to enter your information and you're going to sign up, and then they're going to give you a free audio book. Yes, a free audio book of your choice. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related. So you guys have a whole sea of options for you right there for your free audio book. Listen to this. If you guys do not like Audible and you feel like Audible is not for you, you can cancel within the 30 days and keep your audio book for free no matter what. You can cancel on day 1. You can cancel on day 30. It doesn't matter. Audible saying thank you just for signing up. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go and get your free book today by simply listening to Off the Script. Let's get right into the news, man. Let's talk about this TV deal that should come as to no surprise to anybody listening to me. AEW all but confirmed for TBS. Now, All Elite Wrestling is obviously going to have TV. Jim Ross has mentioned it. Chris Jericho has mentioned it. In fact, Chris Jericho mentioned that he would never have signed with AEW unless there was a major TV deal in place. He knew what they had on the table, and he said, you know what? I'm all in on All Elite Wrestling. Now it looks like we know where they will have television weekly. It should come as to no surprise. Meltzer's been reporting this. Raja has been reporting this. In fact, I found out in February when I was at the House of Glory show, Recapture the Glory, and I talked to people there who are in the know. I knew then where they were going. I just didn't know when they were going to announce it. Now, just to give you a step-by-step analysis here, the Elite was in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. They visited Turner Broadcasting while in Atlanta. And now all the speculation and the rumors about AEW having the best non-WWE TV deal since WCW was correct. Because Turner Sports themselves let the cat out of the bag. And I'm sure Matt, Nick, Cody, and Kenny Omega are smiling from ear to ear about this. The Fight Oracle is reporting that Turner Sports plans to present All Elite Wrestling at their upcoming Upfronts as a part of a presentation for their advertisers. The Upfronts are scheduled for May 15th. Now, the Upfronts, this presentation for the advertisers, this is a big meeting where advertisers sit down and they go over where they want their advertisements placed in the upcoming fall schedule for TBS. In this case, TBS, TNT, everything Turner related. So All Elite Wrestling is being listed in the schedule for Turner's fall programming. So this is where the cat was let out of the bag. Now, the Fight Oracle is reporting that Turner Sports plans to present All Elite Wrestling at their upcoming Upfronts, and Raja is reporting that All Elite Wrestling's television home in the fall will be TBS. Jim Ross previously stated that AEW will have a television home this fall. We didn't know whether then, when he mentioned it, if it would be TNT or TBS, but Raja is reporting it will be TBS. This will not be the first time that Turner has hosted WWE's competitors either, as they were famously the home of WCW Nitro and Thunder during the Monday Night Wars. The Fight Oracle is reporting, and this is what they said on Twitter, quote for quote. At Warner Media Group, aka Turner Sports, TNT TBS, will present All Elite Wrestling at their Upfronts to advertisers next month. Warner Media Turner Upfronts are currently scheduled for May 15th. This is how networks announce their content lineup for the fall season to advertisers. Raja then claimed, and they tweeted at the Fight Oracle, it's TBS from what my sources are being told. There you go, folks. TBS is the home of All Elite Wrestling. It is all but confirmed, but that is not all. That is not all. All Elite Wrestling, with this announcement, there is news about an off-season. Now, it's said that this deal is pretty complex. We don't know the inside workings of the deal, but that's what is being reported. They're aiming at a multi-platform programming as well, meaning that it could be any number of things from digital and beyond. So there are a lot of things that need to be ironed out, but this report seems to indicate that they are planning on making an official announcement during Turner Sports Upfront advertisers in mid-May. This report also includes some very interesting information that might imply that AEW will have an off-season unlike their competition. And I quote here, it is possible that AEW series or the AEW series would not be year-round. That would likely be a combination of the newness of the league and its desire to be more wrestler-friendly than rival WWE, which has a punishing schedule for talent. If AEW initiates an offseason, it could be a very big deal for pro wrestling. They would need to change things in a big way. Indeed, they would be changing the entire landscape of the industry if they didn't work their talent all year round. Only time will tell what AEW ends up doing, but if they are to be taken more seriously and of a more serious sports-like program compared to WWE, wins and losses, all that stuff will take into consideration. They're taking all that stuff into consideration. No matter what, they will definitely have a huge interest as to whatever they're doing to change the landscape of pro wrestling. Now, I honestly knew about the TV deal. The TV deal doesn't really surprise me at all. And I'm very happy. The one thing I don't understand about the fact that AEW is getting TV deals with Turner for TBS, TNT, I don't know if they're going to be on TNT, maybe when, I know Turner likes to present the NBA Finals and the NBA playoffs and sometimes the MLB playoffs. I don't know if TNT is going to be a factor into that because AEW, if on Tuesday and something else is happening on a Tuesday, they might be preempted. And if they are on Turner, they could be moved to TNT. I know that's been done in the past. I don't know if that's going to play a factor into that, but we all knew that they were going to TBS. The thing I don't understand is when I seen this report from the Fight Oracle, I seen some people in the comment section tweet at me directly, Triple H is going to end up being right on this. They will be nothing more than a pissant TV company. And I don't really understand people's mentalities when it comes to All Elite Wrestling. I really don't know what this company, Cody, the Bucks, Omega, have done to initiate such hatred. And they haven't even had a match yet. Like, I don't understand people's mentalities in this entire situation. It's as if they're waiting for these men to fail. And I don't understand that. Why would you just go out there and willingly put yourself on a public forum wishing for someone or a company to fucking fail? I don't understand that Triple H is going to be right all along. Who the fuck cares if Triple H is going to be right all along? Who cares? You don't understand that this company being born and the inception of this company, you don't understand this being a good thing for WWE? I don't understand that mentality in which you want someone to fucking fail. Did Cody have a fucking bounty on your family's head? Did Cody do something just completely evil towards your family or friends or you in particular? Why? Why wish these guys to fail? I don't understand the mentality of some of these WWE fans. It's like they're fucking demented. So what? So what? There's another company being brought up on national television. This is a good thing for WWE because they deserve to have their shit pushed in. They aren't giving us what we want. They're not listening to the fans. They want to go around thinking they're the big dog in the fucking yard. Not anymore. Not anymore. I don't give a shit if they've never had a show or a match or you think their roster is minor league. Clearly they're not minor league if fucking TNT and TBS and Turner Sports are getting in bed with them. Clearly somebody believes in them. Why can't we all be in the same boat about this being a good thing? I don't understand people's mentality here. Never in my life have I seen someone outwardly on social media wishing for someone to fucking fail and be out of a job. What a shitty fucking mentality. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. We all knew this. We all knew this. The TV deal is going to be great. Tuesday Night Dynamite, they copyrighted the name, or it's in process of being copywritten. Tuesday Night Dynamite is where they're going to be. Coincidentally, Triple H was making the rounds WrestleMania week, and Fox is putting on a very Sports Center-like TV show for WWE on Tuesday nights. I wonder why. Of all nights, Tuesday night. Couldn't be on Friday night, right after SmackDown Live. Couldn't be on Thursday night as a lead-in to Friday SmackDown. No, it's got to be on Tuesday. I wonder why. No coincidence there, folks. Absolutely no coincidence. We all knew the TV deal was going to be a thing, and here it is. It's all but confirmed. And this is a great deal. This is a great thing. Great deal. I love TNT, TBS. I watch them almost every day. I love the programming that they have on that. And honestly, with the ties that Turner has with the Rhodes family and WCW back in the day, Cody following in the footsteps and pretty much doing this to create his own legacy. I mean, it's like a perfect marriage. Cody lives in Atlanta. His whole family lives in Atlanta. There you go. This is a perfect marriage for All Elite Wrestling. And I'm excited. The reason why I'm excited, people ask me, JD, why are you so excited about All Elite Wrestling? It's because, number one, right out of the gate, All Elite Wrestling is looking at House of Glory talent. So, just by that alone, I am damn fucking proud of everybody in House of Glory that's being looked at by All Elite Wrestling. You don't know, being there for 2 years, creating the stories and being the voice for these stories, for these men and women, then all of a sudden, all the work that you've put in telling their story and trying to get them in a certain light to be looked at by the fans, and then all of a sudden, that work is now being spotlighted on All Elite Wrestling. Being in my position, you don't know how fucking proud I am of the men and women who are being looked at in House of Glory for a potential AEW roster spot. I look at that as, you know what? I aided or I helped create this story and perception of said wrestler, and now they're moving on to bigger and better things. So from where I'm sitting, I'm damn fucking proud because I get to see the men and women in House of Glory work every single fucking month. You don't think I'm happy to see them fucking grow? You don't think I've sat there and I've just learned the ins and outs of what's going on in the company? To see someone grow, to see someone mature and progress for 2 years, to be okay, to get to a certain level and be fucking great. I love that. I absolutely love that. So why am I supporting All Elite Wrestling? It's because House of Glory is going to be somewhat of a company that AEW is looking at for roster spots. And I love that. And it's no secret. Cody's worked for us. The Bucks were House of Glory Tag Team Champions way back when. So those guys have ties with my bosses. So yes, I'm fucking proud. And yes, I'm happy for All Elite Wrestling. Number two, this is a new company. This is a new company. It's as if they're creating the perception of this is ours just as much as it is theirs. And I love that. When something is new, fresh, and there's a day one on something, I love that, man. You're entrenched. You are invested. You want to see where they go. Everything that starts from the ground up, brand new, is like a fucking baby. And you want to see the baby mature. There's, yes, a lot of work to go into it, and there's going to be a new set of rules. And what they are offering is different than what WWE is doing. They're putting an emphasis on wins and losses. There's going to be, fan-friendly interaction with the wrestlers and what the company is providing to its audience. They're going to listen to the audience. And the fact that they are catering to taking care of their pro wrestlers, taking care of their employees, by not touring a 300-day cycle like WWE and possibly giving an off-season. I love all of that. I really do. And it's on the level of just genuine. Everything they've done is genuine. We got an inside glimpse as to what the Bucks and Cody and Kenny Omega are like in real life. They present their personalities on being the elite, and they're trying to get this started up with all of that in mind. It's who they are. They want to build this entire thing around who they are, and they want to make pro wrestling fucking great again. And watching a company from the ground up, that's to me exciting. There's nothing more exciting than watching something fucking blossom from day one. And I love that. So people ask me, why am I all in on All Elite Wrestling? I wasn't the biggest fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, but now these guys made their mark and they're coming to the United States and pushing WWE's buttons in because WWE isn't providing their audience with what they need. I love it. If you're not going to get what you want from WWE, there's going to be another company to give you what you want. And WWE needs to be mindful of that. Maybe you shouldn't be booking your fucking mid-card like garbage. Maybe you shouldn't be treating your fans like they're idiots and taking your fans for granted. Every fan you look at is nothing more than a dollar sign. WWE doesn't give a fuck about you and me. All Elite Wrestling, I haven't gotten that vibe yet. They're for the fans, and it's going to be something that, from the ground up, blossoms into something great. I feel it. I know. So I don't understand why people want them to fail at all. I don't understand that. I wouldn't wish anybody to fail ever. Unless I fucking completely hated you and I wanted you dead. I wouldn't wish you to fail. But the mentality of these fucking casuals in WWE or these WWE fans are just fucking ridiculous. I never in my life seen such a fucking cancerous mentality. Unreal. Now, the off-season, it does have pros and cons. The one con to all of this, and I'm not talking about Tony Khan, I'm talking about the negatives and the positives. The negatives here. If All Elite Wrestling has an off-season, that is definitely going to be money on the table. There's definitely going to be money on the table. The more you provide, the more money you're going to make in the end. That's the only negative I could see out of all of this talk about an off-season. The positives are something that outweigh the negatives. Look, the positives are very simple. Giving your roster the rest and recuperation they need to be fresh at all times. If someone is injured, and they go into an off-season, said injury is not going to hinder that person from making a huge comeback or rushing a comeback and then trying to get back onto television and try to reclaim his spot that he once had before he was hurt. Everything would start fresh if an off-season is around. You can go into the off-season without having to worry about, oh shit, I lost my roster spot. So I love that aspect as well. It's going to hinder the injuries. It's going to have people on more of a restful nature. I think as far as the writers go as well, everybody gets writer's block. You can't be on 52 weeks a year. You can't be on fucking 2-3 times a week like WWE writers for 52 weeks a year. They're burnt out We know that they're burnt out. We see it. No matter who's in charge over there, we see the burnout. If there is an off season and the writers don't have to fucking sit there and stress about writing for 52 weeks a year, how much you think that's going to be beneficial to them? That they don't have to write, they could take a break, recharge their batteries, get some fresh ideas, just spend time with their family, get some influence from somewhere else, and bring that back to work when everything is, back to being normal. Time to go back to work. I got all these ideas. Let's incorporate them. Let's discuss. Let's talk about it. Let's execute. I love that. I really do. And the whole supply and demand deal. Yeah, there may be money on the table. AEW may be leaving money on the table by not supplying 52 weeks out of the year. Live television. They're not going to be touring 300 days a year. There might be a tour here for a couple of weeks, a tour there for a couple of weeks. So the burnout is not going to be as extensive. And the fans, if they really kick it into high gear, AEW, and the fans genuinely want to just be everything all elite, it might not be that big of a deal. But the supply and demand, if you are invested already in it and you take it away, and you're already invested in it, you take it away, how much more of an investment are you going to be in when they come back fresh after being away? The time away is going to make you miss AEW. You're going to be even more excited for it to come back. And at that point, if it is on demand and they do have an off season, that gives you or a new viewer to catch up on everything. If they're on demand, you get to catch up on everything and then be ready for the next season when they do come back after a short break. Instead of trying to catch up and at the same time trying to catch up, the weekly television is still ongoing each and every week. There are pros and cons to it. They've been about, and they've stressed that they want to take care of their pro wrestlers because everybody has a family. Everybody cherishes family time at home. They don't want someone to be stressed by being on the road 300 days a year, missing a birthday, missing an anniversary, missing time with the family, holidays, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. They don't want that. They want everybody to be happy. A happy work environment is going to make everybody else that much more happier to be there. It's going to be that much more inviting to everybody coming on in. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if they're going to execute an off season. But man, if they do, how much of a fuck you to WWE is that going to be? Because this has been talked about for years. It's not possible in WWE. It's just not. The WWE legitimately is a fucking machine. And they don't have the wherewithal to do an offseason. They can't. That is money lost. Being that they're a publicly traded company, if they take an offseason, WWE, God knows how much money they're leaving on the fucking table. And for their investors, and WWE as a company, they need to report to their investors at the end of the year, and they need to report an uptake, an increase in revenue over the past year. An offseason is not going to do that. And if there's any decrease in revenue, if they're not increasing revenue on a yearly basis, how many people are going to get discouraged and pull out of owning stock in WWE or investing in WWE? The reason why people are investing in WWE right now is because they're making so much money, more money than they ever have in their entire fucking existence. WWE cannot afford to take an off season. And the fact that Fox has already publicly stated, we're in bed with WWE because we've never had continuous sports programming that is a yearly thing, week to week to week for 52 weeks a year. Just based off that, there's no off season, especially for the next 5 years. So the talk of an off season is dead with Fox Sports because they've never had anything like WWE. They've never had an entity like WWE that's going to be there every single time to deliver consistent new weekly content. AEW is making all the right moves, and I love the pace that they're going. Everything is just falling in place one by one, casually, Then they got Double or Nothing. They're going to set the world on fire with Double or Nothing. Ton of news around them. And I love the fact that, it's not upfront in your face. It's not all elite wrestling all day, every day. There's news, and then they go away. It's a little cold period, and then, boom. It's like a fucking scorching volcano, just exploding all over the place. And that's what we're getting this week. Ton of news. So there are pros and cons to the off season. And we don't know if that's going to be a thing. But I do know that they do want to be a touring brand. They're going to be touring here and there. We'll see what happens, man. I will be here reporting everything for you guys as far as All Elite Wrestling goes. But the TV deal, first and foremost, the most important thing, the TV deal is all but confirmed. They will be on TBS in the fall. Tuesday Night Dynamite, I'm expecting in October when SmackDown moves to Fox Sports. Moving on here, man. I want to talk about this Enzo Amore situation. I want to talk about this Enzo Amore situation. Now, Enzo Amore, their contract statuses with Ring of Honor have been revealed. And they raided the G1 Supercard, Ring of Honor New Japan G1 Supercard. This was a big surprise to everybody. I remember it was Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. I went out to go get something to eat and a couple of drinks. I came back home and I passed out on the couch. And I woke up just in time. Twitter was going crazy. My fucking Twitter wall was going crazy. Did you see Enzo? Did you see Cass? They got legitimately beat up. They jumped the barricade. I don't know what the fuck was going on at the time it was going on. All at the same time, Bret Hart was being attacked by some fucking silly Jamaican or imposter Jamaican at the Hall of Fame. So we got this news of Enzo and Cass raiding the G1 Supercard. Meltzer confirmed on Wrestling Observer Live that neither Enzo or Cass have actually signed Ring of Honor contracts. They are expected to feud with the Briscoes, and it is all but confirmed they will be with Ring of Honor. Nothing is set in stone right now, though. On top of that, the former WWE superstars are not scheduled to be at Ring of Honor's TV tapings either. That doesn't mean that they won't just show up, because they weren't advertised for the G1 Supercard and they just jumped the barricade, but who knows? They may show up at the TV tapings because few people knew about their intentions at Madison Square Garden during Saturday night's G1 Supercard. Now, Tama Tonga is very upset at Ring of Honor for bringing in Enzo and Big Cass. Now, the spot worked. It got people to talk, and that's all Ring of Honor wanted to do with this situation. They got a buzz, and the buzz that they got was fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, it upset Tama Tonga to a point where he took to social media and said, I love the fact that Enzo and Cass came and jumped the losers of our match at Ring of Honor booking at its finest. I don't know what that means as far as his opinion on it. I don't know if he's throwing Ring of Honor under the bus or he's throwing Enzo and Big Cass under the bus. It's kind of shaded in gray. But obviously, he's not happy. Now, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Enzo and Cass next. But they were on social media as of today, and they are promoting new merchandise. So clearly, this thing is taking shape, and they are definitely back together. Now, Enzo released a video with Cass revealing their new tag team name. And I don't know if it's their tag team name or if it's something that they are just simply calling themselves because they aren't signed to anybody right now. But Enzo mentioned they are free agents with a Z. That name is obviously a play on words, an obvious play on words with free agency, which could coincide with their new gimmick in Ring of Honor. Big Cass is also going by the name of Caz XL, CAZXL. And Amore, Enzo, is still Enzo, NZO. But it's spelled differently, obviously. They are selling merchandise, too, because they're really good at that. And they posted something on Enzo's official Twitter account. And Enzo says you can feel when it's real. Hashtag free agents, hashtag Enzo, hashtag CazXL. They're selling a new t-shirt. So that's that. Everybody on social media was very mixed about this entire invasion or this raiding from Big Cass and Enzo Amore. All I will say is this. I'm not a fan of Enzo. I'm not a fan of Cass individually. I was never a fan of either one of them. I don't even know why WWE broke them up. I really don't. And honestly, WWE had fucked up because their value was always together. And WWE, for whatever reason, they broke up Big Cass from Enzo because they thought, oh, look, we have another big guy that could be marketable, and let's get him out there on his own, away from Enzo, and see what he can do. Meanwhile, Cass is still relatively young. He was not ready for the position that they put him in. Green as fucking grass. Really didn't have all that great of mic skill on his own. And they thrusted him right into the main event with a feud with Daniel Bryan. I don't know what their line of thinking was, but clearly they did both guys a huge disservice. Enzo went on to 205 Live. I don't know what the fuck they were doing with him. They made a mockery of the Cruiserweight division, something that led to Pac, Neville, leaving the company because of their treatment of the Cruiserweights by putting the Cruiserweight title on Enzo. In their line of thinking, oh, Enzo was bringing awareness to 205 Live. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. People were not watching 205 Live for Enzo Amore. All you did was disrespect all of the Cruiserweights' work by putting in someone who can't fucking wrestle and then giving him the championship over people who can wrestle, like Mustafa Ali and Pac and Buddy Murphy and everybody else in there. Kalisto, Tony Nese. 205 Live is much better now than when Neville was there with Enzo. I don't understand why WWE broke these guys up. As a tag team, they were fucking great together. They might not have been the most technically sound tag team, but man, were they fucking entertaining together. And you know what? For everybody shitting on this move by Ring of Honor, listen, Tama Tonga and everybody with New Japan may be sick of Ring of Honor. And I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, look at what they're doing. I think Madison Rayne she walked right back into Impact Wrestling, and her idea, while she was still in Ring of Honor, was to get the beautiful people back on Ring of Honor television. Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, she wanted rather, beautiful people to be back on television with her. She wanted some sort of direction. She felt like she didn't have direction. So she voiced her opinion and offered this creative idea, and they went with it, but it was after Madison Rayne went back to Impact Wrestling, they used her idea. And they replaced Madison Rayne with somebody. I don't know who, but the beautiful people are back on television, Ring of Honor television, without Madison Rayne. That's a slap in the fucking face. And people are looking at Ring of Honor like, what the fuck? You're taking a gimmick that's 10 years old and applying it to 2019 Ring of Honor television. Now you're bringing back Enzo and Cass to Ring of Honor television? Before long, I would not be surprised if New Japan Pro Wrestling is done with Ring of Honor, and that partnership is done. A lot of people are looking at Ring of Honor like a joke. A lot of people are looking at Ring of Honor like a fucking joke after this stunt that they pulled. And that could be something that New Japan looks at and says, you know what, we don't want to be in bed with you anymore. We're going to go get in bed with All Elite Wrestling. Imagine that. Imagine that. And All Elite Wrestling, to be honest with you, is going to have a presence more so with the TBS deal on their own, but also they're going to have a presence in the United States as far as their partnership with AAA. AAA just announced something at Madison Square Garden. We don't know what that card holds or what's going to be the plans for those matches on that card at Madison Square Garden. For all we know, there could be All Elite influence on that show as well because AEW is partnered with AAA. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but as far as Ring of Honor goes, you want to look at it that way, by all means look at it that way. You might not be you might not be happy with Ring of Honor's method here with Enzo and Cass, but as far as them getting a buzz and them bringing in two guys who are obviously talented as a duo, I would be shitting all over this if they brought in Big Cass or Enzo solo. But the fact that they knew enough to bring them in together, where their value is at its peak together, I actually like the idea. I like the idea of Enzo being Enzo and him feeding off Cass and vice versa. They are a perfect match together. So this is a great idea as far as Ring of Honor goes. And it could really be something for them. It could be something in the eyes of Enzo and Cass where they don't really have any other options right now. And if they want to make a name in this pro wrestling thing, they have the best chance of doing it together. It created buzz. It got them back into the spotlight. People are talking about it. However you look at it, it fucking worked. Ring of Honor got what they wanted out of it. You're talking about it. And I love the fact that it was played off as a real raid. It was real. It was really like they invaded the fucking show. All I know is I didn't even watch G1 Supercard because I'm wrestled out. I'm completely wrestled out. But from what I seen, there's no footage of it. Ring of Honor didn't film it. They turned the cameras away. They didn't even put the cameras on Enzo Amore and Big Cass because they wanted the perception of them really invading. All you seen online was fan-made videos because everybody's got a fucking cell phone. They took out their cell phone and they started filming. From the bleachers, from fucking right where it was happening. And I love the fact that Bully Ray was getting shots in on both of these guys. Legit. They had to do it that way. That all added to the perception of this being a real invasion by Cass and Enzo. These guys have been away. Big Cass, nobody knew where he was or what he was doing, right? He went away. He had a stroke, unfortunately. Thank God he is back to being healthy. But the fact that these guys were away, Enzo was making a fucking mockery of himself, getting kicked out of Survivor Series, and they really weren't doing anything in the pro wrestling realm. They had to come back and really make this a big worked shoot, but it was all planned, and it was played and just executed beautifully. I thought it was great. Tama Tonga might not be okay with it. You know, the Briscoes might not be okay with it. Nobody was filled in. Nobody knew. The only people that knew were Ring of Honor. And those are the moments in pro wrestling that really make you fucking say, oh shit. Those are the most exciting moments. I loved it. I thought it was great. So we'll see what happens with them, but they are going to be with Ring of Honor moving forward. We just don't know when the next time we see them will be. Impact Wrestling is trying to stop Eli Drake from going to All Elite Wrestling. PW Insider is reporting that Impact Wrestling is looking to pursue a breach of contract against their former Impact champion, Eli Drake. If they can pull this off, then it will prevent him from inking a deal anywhere else. The thought is that these public statements that he made against the company recently were enough to be the breaking point. Now, the public statements, I didn't really go over the public statements, but he said this, and fans started calling him a sexist. He said this: they could put on a great show, but nobody is suspending their disbelief. That's the art of good cinema, television, and wrestling. Suspension of disbelief is what hooks people. Without that, you have a gag product that remains niche. Now, he didn't stop there, because Tessa Blanchard and Jordynne Grace got in on this entire discussion. The entire discussion was about intergender wrestling. Now, they not only believe that the Knockouts could beat Drake, but Blanchard stated anyone in the Impact Wrestling locker room could kick Eli's ass in a real fight. I am fairly confident that myself and Jordynne Grace, Taya Valkyrie, or any of the Knockouts, for that matter, could kick Eli's ass. Hashtag just saying. Drake then thanked Tessa for her comments and said that using your imagination can be fun. Then he continued to make his point, and it only seemed to enrage everybody else on social media. Excuse me. My voice is still not right. Not taking anything away from her. She's a great performer and an athlete, but there is nothing realistic about a 5'3" girl fighting a 6'4" jacked wrestler. Wrestling rooted in some level of realism attracts casual audiences, and that's how you grow. Sorry, not sorry. Jimmy Jacobs got in on this as well. Former WWE writer Jimmy Jacobs, who was fired by WWE for taking a picture of the Elite. Remember that? He says, and I quote, "This is a fundamentally wrong opinion. Wrestling is absolutely not rooted in realism, which is self-evident to anyone who's seen a real fight. It's rooted in storytelling, characters, drama, and emotion. To correlate realism with audience growth is 100% wrong." Drake then fired back at Jimmy Jacobs and said, realism in the sense of suspension of disbelief. Storytelling, characters, and drama are exactly what drives the business. At the same time, casual viewers do not bite on tiny person versus big person. Gauge friends that aren't wrestling fans. It's an amazing litmus test. And then he goes on to say, since what I'm saying seems to be lost on some, if the women are outperforming the men, they should absolutely main event. They should absolutely be paid as much, if not more, and push beyond the men. But Ronda versus Lesnar, WNBA champs versus NBA champs, those only end one way. I don't know, man. I'm not even diving into that fucking cesspool of garbage. I'm not. I'll tell you what. I am actually all for intergender wrestling. I really am. I am. And WWE wanted to get in bed with intergender wrestling. They fucking had Nia Jax get into the Royal Rumble and take a super kick from Dolph Ziggler and an RKO from Randy Orton. And then they teased a match with Dean Ambrose. I think it could be a really good story if they tell it right. And I know, I interviewed Jordynne Grace for House of Glory. She's all for it. And one of my questions was, do you see intergender wrestling being the next evolutionary step of the women's evolution? And she said, absolutely. Absolutely. Most of those women actually prefer wrestling than men because it brings out the best in them. And that's all I want to see. I want to see the best of the women. And if that means putting them in the ring with the men, so what? So what? I'm all for it. You know how many times I watch a women's match and they're fucking hitting each other and there's no impact and it just looks fucking completely soft and unrealistic? And then everybody looks bad. It looks like the women shouldn't be in the wrestling ring. And I watched a clip of Tessa Blanchard at some show over the weekend and she looked phenomenal. And she was in there with a guy. She did, I don't know what she did. She did a top rope code breaker and she did a reverse Rana. And watching her move and the physicality that she brought, it just makes you really, it makes you say, holy shit. It brings out the best in whoever's in the ring. Jordynne Grace, I've seen plenty of Jordynne Grace matches. She's great. Absolutely great. In some instances, I prefer them being in the ring with the men. Lucha Underground did it. You know, I mean, yeah, there is a sense of, well, I mean, how the fuck is someone going to be in the ring with a Pentagon Jr. and a fucking Mil Muertes? Who's going to be in the ring with them and realistically make it a fucking, you know, a real fight? I mean, it's all in the storytelling. It's there. But for Eli Drake to come out and be that vocal, you really can't be that vocal on social media anymore. That's what's going to keep you away from getting hired by anybody else. So, I don't know what his case was. He made those comments. Those are his feelings on it. But Impact Wrestling is trying to stop him from going anywhere else. And they're done. Impact Wrestling and Eli Drake are done. And All Elite Wrestling could be a home. WWE has had interest in Eli Drake. He made some mention of the WWE Performance Center environment being cancerous, but I'm not sure if he's talking about now, because all I ever hear is praise on the Performance Center. I believe he was mentioning the time when Bill DeMott was there, so we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, Eli Drake put himself in the line of fire and he got buried on social media. You really can't be saying things like that. You can't. And not all intergender wrestling is bad. Some of it might be cringy, but in my eyes, I think it's great. And it does offer a sense of realism, and it benefits all the women that are in the ring. Because it's so bad to see two women in the ring not knowing what the fuck they're doing. And it's a disservice to a talent like a Jordynne Grace or a Tessa Blanchard or a Taya Valkyrie who are in there, and they're in there with these women that don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'd much rather them be in there with a fucking Brian Cage. I really would. Jordynne Grace and Brian Cage at All In that Battle Royal, in the over-the-budget Battle Royal, was one of the best moments of the whole fucking show. I loved it. And the fact that Bully Ray came in and he beat the shit out of Jordynne Grace and eliminated her, it was just great. It's great. I don't know. To each his own. You might not like it. Some might love it. But I'm all for it. If it makes sense and the storytelling is there, I'm all for it. Nothing wrong about it whatsoever. Now, I got a few more stories here that I want to go over. And I'm glad I did this because there's a lot of fucking news this week, man. There's a lot of news. Major details on AEW teasing a major name as the next roster addition. Now, Tony Shivani was on the Jim Ross podcast not too long ago, and he teased another big name coming to the promotion, but he didn't elaborate anything outside of the person already having great national exposure for themselves. He says, and I quote, I think Cody is a smart kid, and the Bucks obviously made quite a name for themselves. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. I just think it's a great time for pro wrestling. They're going to do some great things in wrestling, including bringing in somebody who has a great national name for himself, and I'll just let it go with that. They're doing things the right way, and I am pretty excited for them. End quote. I don't know who this could be. It could only be a handful of names. Ambrose, I don't think falls into the great national name for himself. But Dean Ambrose, as we reported on Off the Script actually yesterday, could be offered 7 figures by AEW. He is a former WWE champion, a part of one of the best stables in all WWE history. He could be worth that type of money. And it could be a new lease on life for him. And I think they would be actually getting the best of Jonathan Good if he does want to go over to AEW. I don't think it's him, though. I know Goldberg was mentioned. Goldberg was one of the very few names mentioned about joining All Elite Wrestling. In fact, Tony Khan met with Bill Goldberg. We don't know what was discussed. We don't know if there was a contract signed or a contract offered. All I know is that Bill Goldberg is out of wrestling. He is out of the loop. He wants nothing to do with pro wrestling. He merely came back because he wanted his son to see him wrestle. And WWE provided him that. Outside that, Goldberg and wrestling do not mix. But the fact that Bill Goldberg followed AEW on Twitter, that says a lot. It could be Bill Goldberg. And the fact that Bill Goldberg was a huge part of WCW, maybe Turner is like, well, this is a good deal. Goldberg is here. Goldberg is going to be on board. Here's the papers. Here's the contract. Maybe. I don't know. That's a possibility. Some people were saying maybe it's The Undertaker. If The Undertaker shows up in AEW, Vince McMahon will drop dead of a fucking heart attack the next day. Guaranteed. It's not The Undertaker. He will never show up in another promotion. It could be CM Punk. I know CM Punk still has contracts with UFC. I don't think he's ever going to fight again, but it may be a situation where he has to let his contract run out, and then if he wants to get in bed with All Elite Wrestling, then that could be something of a possibility as well. I know he's friends with all the guys over there. I know if he wanted to give the big fuck you to Vince McMahon, that would be it. I do not think, and I mentioned this for fucking years, I do not think that Punk is done in pro wrestling. I don't. And if he ends up somewhere, it's going to be AEW. And man, would that break the fucking internet. Holy shit. Would that break the internet. Imagine that. So we'll see what happens with that. But a huge name tease to AEW. Great national exposure. Great national name for themselves. It's only a handful of people, folks. I don't know who it could be, but Tony Shivani seems to be pretty excited about it. And I'm excited for All Elite Wrestling. I'm getting the hell out of here, guys. Thank you so very much for all your support on the podcast. If you guys enjoyed that, please hit that thumbs up and share the video if you can. And make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206, both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And I will see you all for Off the Script on Friday. Lots of WWE news to go over. So much that it's going to make my head explode. Really. I'll see you guys then. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you right back here for Off the Script, episode 269 on Friday afternoon. I'll talk to you later.